Hello folks, let's get this straight. ZZZ is a very aesthetic game and it's pretty fun as well. I will be playing this for sure, but it is definitely not perfect, and I'm here to talk about my biggest issue. No, I'm not talking about the TV zones that replaces your overworld map and dungeons. And no, I'm not talking about farming for materials or the pull rates. This is a gacha game after all, and we know the standard staples by now. The biggest problem for me are the fodder and trash mobs in this game. They appear way too often and have a ton of health for no reason. It really slows down the otherwise fast-paced combat of the game. And ironically, my favorite part of the game is fighting the bosses and active enemies that forces you to dodge or counter often. So after participating in multiple beta tests, I no longer play ZZZ with a mouse and keyboard because of the non-stop clicks needed to defeat these trash mobs. They barely attack but also refuse to die. I'm not sure why they're so tanky. I ended up switching to a controller because I could not mash the mouse anymore. And you might think I'm over-exaggerating. I wish I was, but in a bunch of the proxy missions, which is pretty much your MSQ or Archon quest equivalent, you do not fight anything else besides these useless enemies. All of the proxy missions takes you into the TV world where you spend half the time moving on tiles to get from point A to point B, then you spend the other half attacking training dummies. And a lot of these missions do not have any elite enemies or bosses. No, the fun enemies end up being the rare rewards after bashing your head through the walls of fodder. But there are some good news. In the endgame equivalent of your Spiral Biz or Simulated Universe modes, there are a lot more of the harder enemies, but it will take a while to get to that point. And it's such a shame because when the combat gets going, you can see all the potential and stylish animation this game has to offer. But the boring enemies kinda ruin the pacing. And this comes from someone who prioritizes gameplay above all else. I love my character action games such as Devil May Cry. I still remember my mouth agape, fully shocked from the first time I saw the damage of a distorted real impact. And while DMC has more oomph, I rather compare Zenless Zone Zero with the fluidity of Bayonetta. One of the more fun mechanics in ZZZ is the witch time from dodging. And while Bayonetta did not invent this mechanic, it sure did popularize it. When folks say witch time, you know exactly what they're talking about. Anyways, enough rambling, I have said my piece. I love the combat of ZZZ when I'm actually facing harder enemies that actually fight back. But it sure can feel grindy when 90% of the foes you encounter are jobbers that just stand around to be smacked. But I'm still looking forward to playing it. Anyway, thanks for watching, Tiso out.